Happy Saturday to you all, and welcome to another episode of Screen Time Continuum. I am Nick, and I am joined, as always, by Keelan. How's it going, man?
Very well in yourself. How you feeling over there?
Not too bad. Can't complain. It's a beautiful sunny Saturday, so just living life. Just got done watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier for episode 1. And figure we should talk about it, right?
Oh yeah, of course. Gotta let them know how we feel, and most importantly, just have to point out the ironies. Like, come on, really?
Oh yeah, there's a lot to talk about. The first episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier has just come out yesterday, I believe, or Thursday. And we wanted to have a short discussion about it today. We're probably going to be following this throughout the series, so stay tuned for that. But Keelan, off the top of your head, how did you feel about episode 1?
I actually liked it more than some of the reviews that I've heard or synopsis that I've heard from others. However, I totally understand how someone could not like this episode. I really understand how someone could not like it. But myself, I did like it. I'm not going to say it built a lot of anticipation, but it definitely gave me a little bit of hope for where we could go with this.
Yeah, I think that's probably a fair evaluation, especially in my experience as well with it. It was a little bit hard for me to get into the story, in that I just didn't, there was something keeping me from immersing myself fully. But I definitely saw threads of story arcs that seem interesting. So it's definitely got me interested in what's to come. It's hard not to compare it to WandaVision just because that just finished. And right. I think that might hurt this series if it doesn't, pull
if it
out.
Doesn't live up.
Yeah, if it doesn't pull out all the stops, then it's going to be hard for it to not be compared to WandaVision. But I'm going to do my best not to do any comparisons because I don't think that's fair. They're two different types of shows for sure. I think I enjoyed sort of the first opening, although it was a little bit, I don't know. There's something about the way the cinematography in the show is working that I'm not exactly a fan of. I can't tell you what it is, but there's something about the way they shoot scenes and they're putting together like angles and stuff that kind of bothers me. I don't know why, but that just might just be me not appreciating the art of cinema. But, there's definitely a scene that kind of jarred me, and that was when we can get to more about that later, but there was a scene with Winter Soldier and his therapist, and they kept having these angles that were really weird, and it made me feel like there was more to what was going on than actually was. And so I just kind of was confused by the end of it. But anyways, so Keelan, do you want to jump off on something particular that caught your fancy, something that you enjoyed?
Oh, well, there were a few things, but I do want to, on that therapist scene, that's why I didn't realize I had myself on mute, but that's why I put my finger in the camera, because it was like there were a lot of those kind of feelings. It was like, why is the camera at that
so close?
Yeah, and it wasn't even like they zoomed in too close angle. It was really, they're in a really small room shooting this kind of
a film. Like the camera's like right next to their face.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But so to answer your question, I really enjoyed that initial scene with Sam. Well, it wasn't really the initial scene, but it was the initial action scene, like the introduction to how the action can be through this series. And that's what I always like about the first action scene you see in a supposed action series. That first action scene always, in my opinion, builds the possibilities for what can happen in this series. So you had him flying through the helicopter and shooting the flares and doing barrel rolls between the canyon, and it's like, oh, you guys plan on going there. And
yeah, it was pretty cool.
Right. And the biggest thing that jumped off the page to me, and this started with Falcon, I didn't even have to wait to get to Winter Soldier for this, which is they will have no problem stacking the bodies in this series.
I was just about to say the same thing. If you weren't going to mention that, I was going to be like, dude, they were just killing people in this series.
Oh, yeah. Now, you didn't see any blood or any of that. It wasn't any blood anymore. But if you're counting, in which I am, the bodies are stacking up fast. Falcon had at least 7 bodies in the very first scene.
Yeah, at least. And then he
At
killed
least.
a few helicopters and, so yeah, I think he killed about 20 people in that
Maybe
desert scene.
12 is a minimum. So okay, I'll give you 20 for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so that's cool. I mean, like, I think that's kind of appropriate. You're not going to be able to really make this an interesting story without like some brutality.
Some reality, yeah.
Yeah, some
Give
Disney
me some
brutality, I guess.
1989 Batman in this thing.
Right. And I think
I know
that's
I'm crossing
probably
genres. I always, I'm sorry not to cut you off, but I always have
no,
to
you're
say it
good.
when I do it because I know somebody's going to be like, he doesn't know any better. I do know better. It's still a good statement.
Oh yeah. You can cross the references if you want. It's not a big deal. We're not that big of nerds about it. But yeah, no, I definitely think that there is something about the kind of reminded me a little bit of a Bourne movie. I don't know if you got that, like a Jason Bourne movie.
Yeah, I did. I got the
A little
same.
bit like
At least
that.
off the Bucky side.
Yes, definitely off the Bucky side. Yeah,
Oh,
I
I'm
got
sorry, we
that for
can't call
sure.
him Bucky because
Oh, that's right.
we're trying to make amends with that side of life.
James.
James.
Yeah. Yeah. There were some interesting story beats, I think. I think the beginning of Sam's story in this episode kind of was a little bit slow, like with him giving the shield over to the museum and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, where's this going?
Yeah.
I kind of see like, okay, he's struggling with the concept of like not feeling like he is worthy of the shield and being Captain America.
Right.
But like the episode didn't really pick up for me until Winter Soldier came in, and then you
Right.
kind of saw like how he was dealing with stuff, and that was the first sort of like, oh, okay, was when you realize that he is friends with that Japanese man,
Right.
and
Well,
then you
and
kind of
so
realize why.
well, I think the reason behind that is the reality of how much we know about the Winter Soldier, right?
Mhm.
We know enough to know nothing.
Right,
Like
right.
we don't really know James Barnes. We know Bucky, right?
Mhm.
Or the Winter Soldier. Whereas with Falcon, we think we know Sam. Like we have from the movies and whatnot. Like there's a lot of Sam in your face and talking to this guy and joking with this person. He's always interacting with someone. So you have an
Yeah.
idea of who you think Sam is. And what I liked about episode 1 for both of them is you got to see sides that we will never get to see in a movie. We
Mhm.
immediately are introduced to the fact that Sam not only is a huge family person and always has been a huge family person, but he kind of at the same time gave his family up to become a superhero.
Yeah.
But
Well,
now that
and
everything is where it's at, he has to help the family. And it's like, yo, don't, that's more that we'll talk about later, of course. But
yeah.
and then so on the other side with Buck, it's like, or with James, excuse me, James, is as simple as when would the movie ever have I'll give it to you this way. In the movies, the Hulk has therapy sessions with himself.
Mm-hmm.
So when will we ever have a chance to see James sit down with an actual therapist? And like he said in his therapy session, 90 years of battle to battle, fight to fight. When can I rest? Like,
Yeah.
it's for some peace.
Yeah, he's definitely it seems to be in that sort of mode where he wants to make amends. So he has like this list of people that he's trying to make amends with, and it just so happens that one of these people is a neighbor of his, I guess. And
I think that's intentional on his part.
yeah, I think so
No,
too.
because that with that being sorry, but
No, yeah.
as a thought with that name, so the neighbor's son, we're assuming he killed his son. We don't know if he killed his son or if he's simply responsible for the actions that got his son killed. That part we haven't gotten yet.
Oh, we
But
saw it into the dream though.
okay, so the dream is of him killing his son
Yeah, that guy that was at the door
at the
after he
door.
killed all those. Yeah, that was
Oh,
his son.
that's his
Yeah.
son.
Yeah,
Wow.
I didn't notice until
Until the
he
picture.
walks. Yeah, until you see the picture of him. Yeah.
So here's the thing. The face was familiar and I was like, we have seen him already, but I couldn't remember if I had seen him in that episode or if we saw him in like
Somewhere
another
else.
show. One of the
Right.
movies or something.
Yeah.
So but what I gathered was that's what the one he regrets the most. Because that's number one.
Yeah.
Like that was the first one he thought of when he had to make a list. And when you
Yeah.
see it now, knowing that, looking at it, it's like it was an innocent person. Of course, that's the most remorse, the one you need that gives you the most remorse and the most regression through your healing, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I think because of that is why he moved into that place, to be that man's neighbor, because he knows it's going to take him that long. But he probably at the same time is thinking to himself, I now owe this man something. So he's there to like be that son type. Hey, dad, let's go to lunch. Hey,
Right.
don't do this. Oh, hey, what you're doing is a little out of pocket. You may not realize it because of the change of times. The difference, and this is where this is helping Bucky or James, in my opinion. They're the same age, he and the guy, or they're in the same age. Like the guy's like 10 years younger than he is.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like in his 90s and Bucky is 100 something.
106.
Yeah. 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 I thought that was really cool. And it's kind of like, oh, that's, like it's humanizing to James.
Right.
And, like it was a very kind of sweet thing. And, like I felt the turmoil of him. Like you can tell that he wants to tell the guy. Like he wants to tell you. I think his name is Nori or
Yuri.
Yuri, yeah. He wants to tell him about it, but he can't bring himself to because he knows it's going to break the man's heart.
It's going to hurt. It's going to kill him.
Yeah, yeah, very possibly it could. So yeah, that's a really crazy sort of situation that he has himself in.
Yeah, no, I think that. What we're going to get a lot of in this show. So this is what I've gathered from episode 1, and then we can go through our step-by-step of the things that we wanted to discuss, which we kind of are doing already, right?
Yeah, we're already in there.
So what I've gathered is that what we're really going to get is we're going to understand something, and this is something I wrote down. It's that, what does it take to be a superhero? Like, what in reality, in real life?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is a real life superhero? Banks don't give a shit about, banks don't care about you being a superhero for a loan.
Oh my gosh. That was so frustrating too, because I thought about it and I was like, dude, Tony didn't give any of them money.
They were living for free. Why would he think he needed to give them anything? And you got to think, Tony thought he was immortal.
I guess.
So he never thought of putting those kind of contingencies to need to pay for people to do anything because, hey, you just come stay in the tower and forget your lives because this is my life anyway.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. But I was just like, dang, dude, he didn't get any sort of hazard pay for any of that stuff. Mm-hmm. That's pretty weak.
For nothing. And you consider here's where Sam is actually luckier than some of the others. This is why Hawkeye and Black Widow are still mercenaries, right? Which we'll see a little more of that in the next Black Widow movie for anybody who's been watching the trailers. But if you consider, Sam is luckier than some of them because he's still a government employee.
Right. Yeah. That's
so
true.
He still at least gets a paycheck from somewhere for something.
Right.
So someone somewhere knows what he's doing and feels obligated to maybe throw him an extra bone, But that's what I got from a good portion of this episode was like, oh wow, we get to discuss in depth. Like, I think we got a bit of that in WandaVision. Like, what happens when they're not fighting and saving the world? Like, what are they doing with these abilities? What they're trying to live a life. Now, imagine trying to live life with these abilities.
Yeah, well, for certain, it's definitely difficult. And, even just integrating into the real world, I think it was an interesting sort of, seeing Sam trying to save his sister and the family boat, and keep their family business running.
And to know that his whole family's business is failing because he's off saving the world.
Yes. Yeah. And it must make him feel very guilty. And wow. I would feel shitty too, because it's like, at least at some point, like literally Iron Man could have coughed and paid for, everything. his family's debts. You know what I mean?
They all should have had a small fortune somewhere.
They should have. All of them should have had a little nest egg where it's like, hey, don't worry about it. You got this. You're good. And it's just like, it's so strange to me, like the people that save the world, like he would still have to go to a bank to try to get a loan. Why wouldn't the military? Why wouldn't the military give him a loan?
Right? Why wasn't he at like army bank or something? That is a good question.
Like the military should be like, hey man, you've done a lot for us. Yeah, you can get that loan, no interest. Don't worry about it.
This whole discussion just made me reconsider in WandaVision. So we assume Vision is the one who purchased the plot for he and Wanda, right? Because that was a gift from Vision. So do you think he sold like a fingernail's worth of vibranium for it, or
I don't know. Right, exactly. How did he? Yeah, how did he get money? Maybe
did
Tony
he?
was giving him an allowance.
Tony's giving him. Oh well, no. Wait, let's remember he does still have some of the Ultron programming, so he could have
That's
just
true.
funneled the money into an account, and nobody really cares or knows because they can't stop him.
That's true. That is true. Yeah, he could have. Yeah, he could have like wired himself into the internet and just transferred a whole bunch of money to his account.
But hey, look, we need to write that 4 page. I mean, 4 book series, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vision.
The
3.
Vision saga. But yeah, so like there's it's kind of a slow episode for the start, which is just trying to set up everything, which I understand. Like I didn't need it to be like hit the ground running.
Correct. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
But so I'm kind of interested to see like how Sam is going to, because he's gonna get the shield. He's going to be
Sam's going to
Captain
take the
America.
shield. I could tell you how that's going to happen. Okay, wait. Okay, so let me. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Watch this. Something happened. Something happened in this episode, and I was impressed. And I'm not sure if I should be impressed or if I should just be glad. I don't know how to feel about it, if I'm being honest. But I'm not, like, it's all positive. It's all in a good way. Sam made a statement, and that statement let me know, oh, y'all gonna let him be. Yeah, you're gonna let him be Aaron Mackey a little bit. You're gonna let him push this line. And what I mean is, he said, in the kitchen before he and his sister left with the plates, the white man ain't never let us get nothing. You are the Falcon, sir.
Yeah, you have like $4 billion on your back.
So it made me know immediately, like, okay, they're gonna get into the real nit grit of it all, and how, like, and that's why I think we're gonna get a lot of the sides of the realities of being human. Like, we're gonna see on screen 2 things, and I'm gonna be totally honest with these 2 things. Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes, James Barnes, even though he is an American, he is no longer an American. So we're gonna see what it's like to be a foreign soldier who has to come to America and live. That's Winter Soldier. And to be a black man who came home from fighting the biggest war this galaxy's ever seen.
Yeah.
It's a really crazy, almost blurred line if you're not paying attention to it.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, it's the story of the war veteran that comes home. It's kind of like the story of Odysseus, where he comes home after a long war to find that his home is in shambles, and he has to do even more work to try to fix the place that he left. And
hope that there's no attack again. Wow,
right.
I never even thought about it that way. You're right.
Yeah, so it's got that sort of mythology in there, which I find really interesting. It's going to be interesting to me, I think, where they're going to take this sort of issue, because we have this new element of this sort of like, I don't know, what do you call it, like a cyber gang?
The
Globe Smashers.
Flag Smashers.
Oh, flag smashers. Yeah.
Or first I was like the Red Hand Smashers, and I was like, wait, no, that's not what he said.
Yeah. Well, the Globe Smashers, which is kind of like a tongue-in-cheek sort of mentioning of, like, I don't know. It just kind of reminds me
it's
of
Flag Smashers, so it's still the same. Yeah, tongue-in-cheek about smashing the patriarchy, the government.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so the leader seems to be an enhanced human as well.
He's definitely a superhuman.
Yeah. So we'll have to see who he is. But I kind of have a feeling that maybe he is Captain America now.
See, okay, so here's the thing. I thought so as well. And then so when they introduced the new Captain America, I literally, and I did it like I was looking like in sports, we call it the eye test.
Oh, right.
I simply paused it, sized him up, rewound to the big guy, sized him up, and that dude is easily like 5 inches taller than him.
Oh,
and maybe about 3 or 4 inches width.
Yeah, he looked bulkier.
He's a bigger guy.
Yeah.
So what I gather is they're both possibly superhuman, but we don't really know anything about the current Captain America.
Right.
But they both are possibly superhuman and a part of the same project, just not the same people.
Right. And I can kind of see the new Captain America being like totally inept. You know what I mean? Where it's like a Captain America who doesn't really have super strength, but he's got the shield now. And because you see him, he has a gun.
Yeah, he does have a gun. You're right. I was about to
He's
say
got a
he's a
gun
cop.
on his.
I was just
He's a
about to say
cop.
he's a cop.
Yeah, exactly. So it's gonna be weird because he's gonna probably be like trying to be this like Captain America
Oh,
figure, and then it just doesn't work.
okay. I gotta say it. You know how Sam's gonna become the next captain? First, I was thinking he's gonna go take it because he's
Yeah.
like, that's saying y'all were supposed to put this in the museum. And I thought he was just gonna go take it. That's what I was thinking.
Right. Right.
But what you just saying that and me remembering, yeah, he did have a gun. Actually, I think he had a gun and a taser, which would definitely make him a cop.
Right.
He's gonna die or get hurt
Mm.
really bad. And that's what's gonna make Sam, we gotta do something about this.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe.
Because
Yeah.
he seemed very anxious and irritated by the fact that they were utilizing it in the manner in which they were utilizing it.
Yeah, yeah, he wasn't happy about the fact that they brought a new Captain America in for
Right.
sure. Well, especially since Steve Rogers told him he was supposed to
It
be
was
the
for
next one. So it's like, yeah.
But I thought that whole moment with and forgive me, I can't remember. Never mind. I was about to say I can't remember his name when they bring in Rhodes. So they bring Rhodey in, and you bring Rhodey in just to ask Sam if he would be. Well, why didn't you take the mantle, bruh? Did we just walk through the history of Captain America?
Yeah, were you not just in Endgame with me?
You know exactly why I didn't take the mantle. I want to live. Hey,
Right.
how are your legs working?
Yeah, right, exactly.
How about that? That's a real question. But I like that at first, I liked that they had brought Don Cheadle back to play Rhodey. Now I'm irritated that you wasted Don Cheadle's time for that crap scene. He better be in the rest of the series.
Yeah, I would hope so because it doesn't seem like if that was just a throwaway to like tie in one more person into the series, and I'm like,
If it were, then I hope they shot that when they shot Endgame and they didn't waste that man's time.
Right, exactly. Yeah, because that was a real nothing scene.
For real. And I am honestly saying I would be upset if you wasted Don Cheadle's time like that.
Yeah.
Specific. This has nothing to do with Marvel. I will just be mad if you wasted Don Cheadle's time. What is wrong with you?
So like the new Captain America, do you think that there's anybody that's somebody significant? Because like to me it seemed like it was shot like we should know that person.
It was definitely shot like we should know that person.
Yeah. So I was a little bit confused because I couldn't place the face. I don't know who that is.
Jawline. It almost looks like it
really
could be familiar. A clone of Cap, like a younger clone of Cap.
Oh geez, could you imagine
the jawline? Like, look at that jawline. No, I can't believe I said that 3 times already. But no, that was the first thing. It was me sizing them up. Like, Then I thought about it, and I was like, remember when? So even I think at the beginning of the series, no. I've watched way too many Captain America movies. That's all. When he's young Cap, and his jawline's a little bit smaller before they juice him up.
Yeah,
that's what his face looked like. It looked almost like a little CG'd, is what I'm saying. So it's like they were trying to make the person look familiar, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know exactly if we know this person yet, but I do have a sense that he's going to, in some way, bastardize the Captain American name.
Oh, for sure.
That's going to make Sam really upset.
And then he's going to go steal the shield and be a rogue or vigilante.
Right.
I like the word
Winter
rogue.
Soldier. Yeah. Him and Winter Soldier will have to team up to take out this flag smashers.
Right. And so here's the thing is that when Sam was talking to, and I didn't get his name, but the young guy who got stamped out by the flag smashers leader, I think they were alluding to if they thought it was Bucky.
Oh, you think that they think it's Winter? Oh, I wouldn't want that again. I don't want that again. I think
that's how it's going to start up. And I think that's how they're going to link back up, is they're going to go hunting for him and realize like, nah, this dude's been, and they're going to catch him. They're going to catch him harassing one of the people he's been harassing.
Yeah. How many times do we have to think that Bucky is a bad guy? I mean, seriously, I don't know.
That's a part of his story arc, and he's accepted it. He understands.
Bucky just wants to go back to Wakanda.
For sure he does. But that's why he's the only hero or villain that you've ever heard of that has all of his memories from when he was mind controlled. Everybody else forgets something. He has all of his memories. And it's like, no, they want that to be a part of his motivation.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely going to have to be a big part of his motivation because he's dealing with a ton of guilt. And so that'll probably drive him to be a hero again, because he realizes the only way he can make amends is by being a hero and not hiding, because I think that's kind of where he's at right now. He's like very comfortable with the hiding, but he's gonna have to be called back to be a hero again.
Right. He's always going to have to be called back. I think things like the therapy is helpful for him, but it can also be detrimental. The same way when he was on the date with the young lady and he's trying to have that discussion with her, right?
Oh yeah.
It's like that triggered him. And what people don't realize about people with trauma, right? If you trigger them at the wrong time, their reaction might not always be to get up and walk away.
Oh yeah, for sure. Of course not. Yeah,
You know?
I mean, you think about soldiers with PTSD and all that stuff.
Right.
That stuff
And
happens.
that's not like a steel arm. He got to keep the vibranium arm. Y'all better quit playing. That thing fire rockets.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they let him keep the vibranium arm.
Who was going to take it from him?
I guess that's true, right? Although T'Challa took it from him.
T'Challa's rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman.
Absolutely. Maybe that's a testament to the Black Panther then, because it's like, you can't stay in Wakanda with that arm, bro. Like
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and what it came down to, if you ask me, the reason, and this is what I was going to say about T'Challa can't take it from him because T'Challa isn't the kind of hero that gives you a weapon and I'm just loaning it to you. Like he's not that kind of I've never seen anything of that like him from him in the comics or anything. It's like if he give you a suit, guess what? It's your suit. I don't want that back.
Right. It's kind of like Jamie with his sword with Brienne.
Yeah.
Or it's like, no, I gave that to you. It's yours. Yeah.
Spot on.
For sure. I mean, I look forward to seeing what happens in the future. I don't really know because to me, this is going to play out like one of those spy action movies. So the tone is definitely going to be different. I was trying to hunt for Easter eggs, but I don't think I found any. And I was thinking that like it was going to be kind of like WandaVision, where everything has like an Easter egg in every scene.
Yeah, some secondary meaning, not so much.
But I don't necessarily think I saw anything like that was hinting at anything more. I think what we're going to get is like a straightforward action sort of series.
Right. I do have two things. One Easter egg is the Smithsonian, right? And the whole like old memorabilia and turning the Cap's shield into it reminded me of Black Panther. It reminded me of the world meeting bombing where T'Challa's father was killed, and it reminded me of when Killmonger broke into the Smithsonian to steal the mask and the other that stuff. So I think that does hold some type of relevance, the Smithsonian itself. Sorry, hit the mute on accident. And then considering that you only had the Smithsonian for that one scene, and then you turn around and the shield is in someone else's hand. So what other reason did you have to have a huge Smithsonian?
That was weird with the government guy that basically was like, we're just going to put it in this box for a second so you can walk away so we can give it to our Captain America.
Right. And that those could very well be Skrull.
I mean, they could be. Yeah, maybe they're Hydra. Maybe it was Hydra
also be Hydra,
like basically it was infiltrated the government and now is like using Captain America as a Hydra agent.
Right. Yeah, it's possible.
And that could tie
which actually happened in the comics.
And that can tie in, James too, because he would know how to spot out, Hydra and all that stuff.
Yeah, those activities. Yeah. Wow. Yep. And then so the other thing, and these are small. I don't even know how much of Easter eggs they are, or more just planted planted parts of the plot. Is that James' therapist isn't really a therapist. She's just a really good ex-soldier who's been through a lot of mental trauma herself. Yeah. Like, of course, she's an actual therapist, but it's like, I'm not here to be a good therapist. I'm here because I'm a great soldier.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, so, Doesn't he need somebody to talk to, not somebody to teach him how to be more secretive and militant? And it's like, oh, shoot.
Yeah, I'm getting a weird feeling from her. Yeah. It sounds like she's training him.
I think she's implanting code words the same way Hydra did.
I think so too, because she that whole rule thing that she's like, you made sure you followed my 3 rules, right? And I'm like, that sounds a little sus.
And when she gets to number 3, that fake smile that he can't help, it seems like he couldn't help when he was saying number 3, but to smile.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, I think there might be a little bit of MK Ultra going on there.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
let's give the three rules really quick. So the three rules of James Barnes, aka Bucky Barnes, rehabilitation is do nothing illegal.
Which he broke.
Well, yeah,
He
bent it a
did.
little
He
bit. He bent
technically,
it.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No one, and it's only illegal when you get caught.
Yeah,
But
that's true. Sure.
no one gets hurt.
Which he broke. He
I
pistol whipped
mean,
that guy.
that was self defense, wasn't it?
I guess.
Okay. Hey, there's a loophole everywhere if I look for it.
Right.
And make amends, but he still got her arrested. So I was kind of wondering
Yeah.
are you making amends if you set her up to?
So the amends is for all of the things that he enabled, I think. All of the
Yes.
criminality that he enabled. Now
Yes.
I think he's being charged with either turning those people in or getting rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think a little bit of both. He just can't do it with violence, which
Right.
kind of
Right.
sucks because that's like his best skill set. But that's the whole point. Like, nah, build a new skill set.
Oh, I mean, the best. I honestly, I preferred the Winter Soldier scene to the flying scene. To be honest, just
It
because of
was funner.
the action was a little bit better. I think that the flying scene for me, that should have been a movie theater scene,
I
because
agree.
I wanted the big screen and like the really good sound system to kind of like put me in that moment. And while it was like super cool, I think that it kind of falls short because that to me seemed like a perfect
silver screen movie.
opportunity. Yeah, a perfect opportunity for the silver screen. Like that's something you'd be like, holy moly. Yeah. So,
Definitely. Okay.
yeah. So, I mean, do you have anything else, Keelan, you wanted to mention before we wrap up?
I just got spooked by a sound that I'm not sure if you guys heard over mic.
Oh, geez.
Like
Hey,
I
when that
tried to
happens,
hide it, but it's like, hold on, wait, it just combined.
it's
It threw me off.
no worries, no worries.
But anything else? Let's see. No, the biggest thing for me is just that being a superhero is a government job. Real life is still happening, and I really look forward to seeing how they implement a little more of that.
Mhm.
Um, Again, I think that we're looking at a new. I look at WandaVision and this as just new avenues, right? We didn't get in WandaVision, it was the mind of someone who was going through a deep, dark depression. That's
Mhm.
new for Marvel, like to really
Yeah.
dig so deep into emotion. Um,
Mhm.
with this, I think it's going to dig a lot more into real life and the realities of things that are perceived as fun and like, no, these are jobs.
Yeah.
And I can honestly give Disney a little bit of a clap hand for that, give them some applause
Yeah, I think
because
they're
that's important.
focusing yeah, they're focusing more on the social aspect of being a superhero. Like,
Yeah.
what is it like in your everyday life?
Hmm.
Yeah, so that'll be an interesting take. I think there's a lot of opportunity to get, to some pretty cool spots. So we'll see how it plays out. I don't know how many episodes this is, maybe 9 or 10.
Right.
Who
I'm hoping
knows?
they weren't cut as short as we were told WandaVision was, but we'll see.
Right, right. But yeah, I mean, I think that that's probably going to be interesting. So, thank you guys so much for listening. We very much appreciate it, and we'll be back next weekend with the episode 2 of Falcon and Winter Soldier. We got Game of Thrones season 7 on Wednesday. That's going to be a lot of fun, and it's a shorter season this time around, so I
It
think you'll
is.
be able to watch it without too much problems. But please stay tuned for that. If you want to check out what Keelan does with If Numbers Could Talk, that is on at Tuesday at 6 p.m. I also do a show called Exofathom. That is Monday and Friday at 8 p.m. If you feel inclined, please check us out. Otherwise, we thank you very much for just watching this video. We hope that you enjoyed. Please leave us a comment. Give us a like, a subscription. It really helps, especially on YouTube. We're trying to build that audience. So thank you to everybody who subscribed to us. Thank you to everybody who shares our videos and comments. We really appreciate you guys. For Screen Time Continuum, I am Nick.
And I'm Keelan.
See you later, guys.
Appreciate it, guys.